We'll get to the birth control in a minute, but Brian, I wanted to start with that comment made last night about the calm before the storm. What do you think he meant by that? Do you think that was just off the cuff, or was that a calculated comment?
Well, we've watched since the beginning of his presidency, President Trump blurting things out. And, you know, I'm thinking, you know, as we watch this presidency start to roll out now after many months, it's more about watching what he does rather than what he says, because he says a whole lot of things, and many of them don't come to pass.
Well, there's a lot going on in the world. There's the possibility of the decertification of the Iran deal. There's the increased tensions with North Korea. Also possibly the loss of our Green Berets in Niger, and maybe some retaliation. What kind of message is he sending to the world when he says something like that?
Well, unfortunately, it's very mixed, and so you're left to your own interpretation if you're in land.
Well, it seems to go completely opposite what his Secretary of State says. Rex Tillerson is it seems calm and calculated, the exact opposite of President Trump, who just kind of says what he thinks when he wants to. What do you think is the future for Rex Tillerson?
Well, you know, the folks I've spoken with and others think he's on the bubble. You know, the thing that Donald Trump doesn't countenance is disloyalty, and what we may have heard about what he said in a description of the president,
calling the president
a moron, could have been sort of the final act, except Tillerson's doing a very good job around the world. I mean, he's highly respected, and he's the yin to the yang. I mean, he's the one person out there saying, hey, we've got connections with North Korea, we're talking to those people. So it comes back to this good cop, bad cop sort of thing.
Do you think Mike Pompeo could be considered for Secretary of State?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a number of other people out there. But the Trump administration cannot keep blowing through these people and expect any continuity. And that's really the biggest problem.
Let's talk about the situation with birth control. It can't come as too much of a surprise. President Trump doing exactly what he said he was going to do during the campaign. Absolutely.
You know, but you're seeing all of the lawsuits that line up, and you know, this is going to be a rather lengthy fight. You know, the contraceptive issue, and teamed up with the religious component today. This stuff's happening a lot on Fridays, as you notice, and kind of goes into the weekend. We'll see where it all goes.
So does it come down to whether private entities should be have to cover contraceptive if it goes beyond their beliefs?
Yes. Well, I mean, basically, it's right now you're required to provide that, and this new mandate says if you have a religious belief that says that shouldn't be covered, they don't have to cover it. Now, out there in the real world, very few companies are even arguing about this. It's part of their coverage.
All right. We will let that be the last word. Thanks so much for coming in tonight.
You're very welcome. Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Brian.